Our 3-person climbing team just topped out and is now needing to rappel down. Here's an efficient and safe way to make that transition. Hello again, I'm Jason. Because I have twin boys, we climb a lot in a team of 3. We are usually climbing on 2 ropes, either twin ropes or doubles, with both following climbers moving up slightly staggered to one another, but moving at the same time. And if you watched other videos we've done, you may have seen one of the many occasions when we have the boys heading down a multi-pitch route on single-strand rappels, sometimes fixed by my device, sometimes fixed by knots. Today I'm talking about the fastest way we've come across to make the transition into this rappel system. So it might be a good option when we are racing a storm or for whatever other reason we want to get down in a hurry. But it has its downsides. The foundation of this transition procedure is rooted in the fact that we A, have 1 climber each already on a single strand, B, have to join the 2 strands at the ends of the respective ropes at the anchor, and C, already have 2 rope ends near where they need to be because they are tied to the leader's harness. The key first move for this transition starts before the leader even begins to belay from the top. We want to clove into the anchor using both ropes tied in individual knots, because those become the rope fixing knots, and the individual knots will mean less mess later. We are then belaying up the climbers as per the norm. When the second climber gets to the top, they can attach the rappel on an extension to the back side of the clove hitch using their same rope and add their friction hitch back up. With single-strand rappels, having enough wraps on that friction hitch is important. The third climber does the same using the rope into which they are tied. Now, the lead climber can take the second and third climbers off of belay and add their device into both strands above the other climber's devices. At this point, the second and third climbers are each on fixed strands. Everyone can check each other's systems, and those 2 can head down on rappel. Note that they have not had to untie from their climbing ends, as they can bring the rope down with them. That also ensures the system is closed and no one can rappel off of the end of the rope. They also never had to leash in direct to the anchor, and neither will the leader, so this is good if we are low on soft goods. While the second and third climbers are on rappel, the leader can now come out of the tie-in knots at the harness. Taking those free ends, we can run one end through the rappel point and then join the ropes. The flat overhand bend with 30 centimeters of tail is the standard joining knot, but it has its pros and cons. Maybe a discussion of why it is the standard should be the subject of a later video. Once the second and third climbers have finished their rappels, the leader can pull from above the clove hitches to unweight them and then take them out, going on rappel. And this gets to what I think are the downsides of this transition procedure. First, in this instance, we didn't take the extra time to undo everyone's tie-in knots. That got the second and third moving down faster, but that means we have to do that later. 1 climber is going to be on the pull strand, and that end needs to be threaded through the new lower anchor point. The other climber is not on the pull strand, but that end needs to be free to be pulled back up and through the top anchor when it's time to pull the rope. So that climber needs to come out of their knot too. The upside here is that all this faffing with knots is happening while the top climber is heading down, so we are being efficient. A downside is that everyone on the team needs to know which is the pull strand, so it can be threaded correctly, or we end up waiting for the top climber to come down and declaring which strand is which. But maybe the bigger issue is that through the process of climbing up, the second and third climbers' ropes may have gotten crossed over each other several times and twisted up. That can be a lot to undo while on rappel. So I find that this system works best when climbing with double ropes rather than twins, where the leader is using 1 rope for all the left side clips and the other rope for all of the right side clips. That goes a long way to preventing any serious tangles.
Clip orange.
Do you climb much in teams of 3? What do you find are some of the unique challenges? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and share if you want to support us. For more information, you can go to our website at www.shortguysbetaworks.com. Sometimes we may want to lower a climber rather than rappel, so you can check out a video we did on 3 types of lowers, or maybe check out our entire rock climbing safety series. We'll see you next week and keep on getting more out of that big outside.